So this is the Academy of Moving Pictures, the one and only, in Hollywood. We're doing a lot of work around the outside, so I imagine the name says it all. There's one in London, the Museum of the Moving Image, similar, and then one in Madrid, which is the Kinematic Museum, which is silly, but nothing quite as big as this. Nothing quite like this. I mean, Sydney Poitiers Grand Lobby. And no shortage of Oscars.
I'm just so tired of watching myself and every single other woman tie herself into knots so that people will like us.
It's now taking us through the history of cinema, kinematics, black and white, Harold Lloyd sort of thing. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it's probably one of the most phenomenal aspects of human history, really, isn't it? Moving image. More and more advanced slowly, then the talkies came. I think the official name was the Age of the Silver Screen. Keaton, Buster Keaton. Well, I think Woody Allen said he tried to emulate Keaton's work in his own stuff, except that Woody Allen's stuff had talking in it. But the antics, you know. And Charlie Chaplin. Looks like the Wright brothers. Bela Lugosi, I think. Metropolis, what a movie. The 1920s version of Star Wars, really. King Kong must have been one of the first examples of stop frame animation when they did that. Judy Garland died fairly tragically.
Great decisive battle in history, in which the frontline fighters were airmen and civilians. He's looking at you, kid.
Bogey, Humphrey Bogart. I think it's the escapist aspect of movies which is the most appealing to people, you know. It takes you out of the here and now and you can be the person you want. Huh. Carmen Miranda. There's a saying as well in the movies, I think when video came out, the expression, the film is the leather and the video is the plastic. You know, you look at some of those 80s videos and it was very sort of plasticky and the definition wasn't quite as good compared to celluloid. These days, of course, it's perfect really with digital. I think these were 2001, Space Odyssey. Most of the special effects engineers who worked on it had worked with Jerry Anderson of Thunderbird's Marionette Puppets. And they left Jerry for a while and went on, worked on 2001. Richard Roundtree. Should met Marlon Brando in that movie. Apparently he stuffed cotton wool in his mouth to make it seem. Clint Eastwood, who's got a premiere here on next week, 25th. Stuff. Bernard Herrmann's score for Taxi Driver. Sinister perspective of New York. It's not like that now. Kubrick's The Omen. Ride of the Valkyries.
Captain's log, Stardate 814146. Starship Enterprise departing for SETI Alpha 5 to pick up the crew of USS Reliant. All's well. And yet I can't help wondering about the friend I leave behind.
The thing about Star Trek movies and the series, the music was almost continuous in every scene. It's one thing I noticed about that show.
You don't see it every day? I'm in love with you.
Cher, acting debut.
Snap out of it!
I can't.
Who framed Roger Rabbit, I think.
Hi!
Louis Latest. Let me tell you the story of right hand, left hand. It's a tale of good and evil.
And now we're getting more up to date with Liam Neeson and Pulp Fiction, and got more realistic, and the quality of film got better. But I think CGI, which plays a bigger part in movies today, has been good and bad, because if it's overused, it just takes away the realism of the thing, you know. It's, CGI has its place, but I don't think it should be overused.
Do you like taking risks? You know, sooner or later, you really wear that suit.
CGI like this Planet of the Apes thing, I prefer the Roddy McDowall mask myself.
Listen to me.
I mean, it's like saying do World War I or World War II, you know, with those guys coming over the trenches in CGI. It just wouldn't be the same. With the original Pathé footage, it looks real because it is real.
That's what I promise. I'm not gonna let you go. Hey man, I got you. There you go. 10 seconds.
So you've got a fantastic view from this place as well. Look at that. Let's see if we can see the Hollywood sign. Not quite. I think this is more towards North Hollywood, so it'll be just over there in the distance somewhere. It's a foggy day today anyway. So when Chaplin and all those people came to this place in the 20s, I think it was, it must have been like landing on the moon, because strange environment from the austerity of London. Most of these are inspired by Metropolis, which was Fritz Lang's black and white venture in the 20s. German-American Fritz Lang. And it was a Star Wars of the day. And there was another British science fiction show with puppets called Space Patrol, in the early 60s by a director called Roberta Lee. And Space Patrol was in black and white, but the puppets hadn't advanced so much as to make their mouths open. But it was still an incredible show with lots of trams and all that sort of monorails going everywhere. And this sounds like we're coming into the more 60s era.
Donating their time and energy, and without it,
Judy Garland, etc. 60s,
but I
70s.
accept this award on the behalf of the miners of Harlan County, who took us into their homes, trusted us, and shared their love with us. And it is their commitment and loyalty which is honored here tonight. Thank you very much.
And the winner is Marvelous Meryl Streep.
Land of vanity, really, isn't it? Why not?
Oh boy. No matter how much you try to imagine what this is like, it's just so incredibly thrilling right down to your toes. I have a lot of people to thank. And I'm going to be one of those people.
So I'm a big fan of French movies, you know, I love all that François Truffaut and also French composers like Francis Light and Michel Legrand, who did The Go-Between. I don't think those films like Love Story and those black and whites from the 60s, they wouldn't be the same without the film soundtrack. Tracy, judge in the Nuremberg film.
That just gonna make us some bad deal. My point to me.
Poor old Marlon, he had a lot of tragedy off stage as well as on stage, didn't he? And he used to have a friend who used to live in a village in Kent in England called a place called Selling. I was driving through the other week and I saw Selling and I thought, well, this is where Marlon Brando used to come.
Don't ever take sides.
It's a long way from Hollywood, but he used to walk the kids around and all that, and
Your wife and
so it's an escape from Hollywood, you know.
Very happy.
That's good.
They do say he's a great. I think even Barbara Streisand said he was the greatest actor, but it's a matter of opinion, isn't it? World's a stage. This was the days of storyboard artists, long before it went digital. Saw a movie the other day, one of Frank Capra's movies, another Italian-American director, a really good film, set during the 1928 Wall Street crisis and the Great Depression, and Frank Capra went on to make, I think it was Wonderful Life, which gave him, with all the depression at the time, I think Wonderful Life was a way of him trying to take people out of depression.
I actually, I have friends who have won this before. And I swear, I have never held one before. This is the first time I've ever had one of these in my hand. Oh, dear.
So now we're really in the Italian section of the film museum, and a lot of this is about Italian directors, Frank Capra, and Italian origin directors like Francis Coppola. And although The Godfather was, not fantasy, it was based on true people. Like I think in one of the scenes it was Frank Sinatra singing at a pub in New Jersey somewhere. And turned out later that Frank Sinatra wasn't. I mean, my father worked with Don Costa's orchestra, so he told me a few things about Sinatra in a very nasty scene. Look at that. So, although it seems romantic, and looking back at the mafia and pizzas and all, we laugh at some of those characters in Goodfellas. I think at the time it was rather nasty. I mean, apparently you never actually got deliveries done unless you agreed to the mafia's terms and conditions. So I think that was De Niro when he did Mean Streets, just before Taxi Driver, about 1973. Same director, Martin Scorsese. So this looks like it's some of the auditions which Coppola attended for the casting of The Godfather. Brando and other actors. So it shows you storyboard artists before. We used to employ storyboard artists. I knew when at Bray Studios in Space 1999, and it was all drawn out. I think they do it digitally these days. So then there's black and white shots of the Teamsters and Jimmy Hoffa, who controlled the unions at the time. So the first Godfather was incredible. Imagine when he was doing the research for The Godfather, imagine Francis Ford Coppola considered some of the consequences of what he did if he'd have got it wrong, I'm sure he thought about that. It's one of the oldest Italian-American restaurants down the road here, just off of Sunset Boulevard. And it's a really sort of dark place, and the history is amazing. Sinatra and Dean Martin and all those people have been in there. And it looks like walking somewhere in the 40s or 50s.
There's a purpose to action. There should be a purpose to those kinds of scenes. It's not just about
This is interesting because this is Sid Gauman, about Sid Gauman. He's got the Chinese Theatre in Hollywood, one of the biggest cinemas in Hollywood, where I had my film shown last year. And it's where the Oscars is actually shown as well. It's about 7 or 8 big screens in there. So Sid Gauman, I've got to find out more about him. These are the main, this is Fox.
Harry Cohen, on the other hand, partnered with Sicilian-born director Frank Capra to showcase the power of the little guy taking over the establishment.
So there's a lot here on movie cameras, the evolution of movie cameras through the year, but not, I don't think anything on projectors. Like one of the projectors that we use in the UK is known as Philips non-rewind system, where you go from, it's like 3 cake stands, and it goes from the top to the bottom, then to the middle, and then back to the top again. So there's basically, say, there's 3 performances a day. This was before they started using digital files. Obviously, you'd end up with the film back on the top, and but they don't. Since it's gone digital, it's all a file now. It's absolutely perfect. But I thought it'd have more on the evolution of projectors up to the present day. Disney. And with Walt Disney, I think the last one he was involved with was the Aristocrats, just after Jungle Book, with some brilliant music in it. I think Maurice Chevalier and some good jazz tracks. So that was set in Paris. So that was the last one Disney was involved with, 1971.